for a potential transfer of power at the top of this Champions League group.
Superstitious players or fans will be like, well, Chris is back to the left-hand side of the arena where he won 4-0. Who knows if that will play out nicely for him, because he played a lot better in his first match than his second.
That is such a superstitious thing for you to notice.
I'm always looking at things like that. I really am.
Oh, teapot's out for Jimmy Croxton. But quality of contact did not translate into a ball in a hole. First chance then to CD. And the start to this match will be massive. Get yourself in front, and it really puts all the pressure, piles it over to the other side of the arena.
Really good chance as well. This is as good a layout as you could hope for, really, especially off a Jimmy Croxton break, you know, your opponent's break. It's just hold yourself together here and find the pattern. He kind of almost needs one positional shot just to land in the middle, really, of the yellows there. Get on one of those to bottom right-hand corner, ones he's next to, and he's pretty much out if he could do that. He's not going to get there off this shot, you feel. Probably have to go up the table, or the one to the middle. It's just proving to be awkward on every shot so far. That's why you got the grimace there from him.
Yeah, he just wants just that line, just to get rid of that ball, but it's not easy to find.
If he had landed on the yellow to top left, he's out. If he'd landed straighter or lower on this yellow to left centre, he's out. Keeps landing with that awkward angle. He's got to find another positional shot, and well, the chance is going to go here.
Yeah, that's a poor one. Needed to avoid that contact.
Yeah, this was too good a layout to be in this position with 3 yellows left.
Wasn't a million miles away with making a ball there, whether yellow or red. And he's managed to successfully mess the table up. This isn't a gimme finish for Jimmy Croxton, which I guess is all that Chris could kind of hope for there.
Yeah, but if you're Jimmy and you saw the layout that he'd left for Chris Day, you would be over the moon to be getting back to the table in any situation. And it's not that bad. It looks like he wants the red off red to pop open the top right-hand corner. Interesting to see the pace he plays this one at, because it's not necessarily going to move the yellow. So does he follow through to get on the plant across the top of the table whilst just popping the other red into play? Well, plays it clean, which is interesting. So that tells us maybe he's thinking about the plant the other way round. So red, yellow, red plant to the corner. It looks like it's set very much to the jaw, but he must fancy it. Let's come around to have a look at it now.
Extension.
If you're going to go into it that way, because the plant's not on, why not play the red off red? Pop it into play. Could have played the red off red and held for the one he's just played, so that he's not playing around with moving balls and then working himself back into a good situation. He's actually landed really nicely here because he can play the plant whilst opening things up. wasn't exactly what he was playing for, so a touch fortunate to land that good. Should allow him to get out though. Been very measured through this counter, using a lot of his clock up, making sure of his shot. That's how important this opening frame is. Job done for Jimmy. This will be kicking himself because that was a very good layout for him.
Mentioned how important the early stages in this match will be. It's Chris Day who finds himself behind.
Trailing 1 frames down. Launched that one a little bit more. That wasn't as clean as other breaks tonight, where he has hit the break really well.
Sense of frustration, maybe?
Yeah, and you can see cue ball just coming off and lots of side on that one. Not quite flushing the front ball, and therefore not quite as much power driven through the pack. But still a chance. This is obviously a much trickier layout than the one that he made a mess of in the opening frame. But there is an out on. It's very fiddly in and around the triangle area. And the first shot, oh, he's very fortunate for it to fall in. Used it all. Hasn't got where he wanted to positionally though. Or has he? Can he get to the yellow? If he can get to this potting angle, it's brilliant cue ball if this is what he was playing for. Spins it in, brilliant. And he's on the yellow to left centre, to right centre now. Wow, what a! I mean, there was no margin there. That was a brilliant positional shot.
Just
tried to pop that on the straight side of the pocket, and that was taking it to the extreme with side to hold. He's done well. Still not easy. Cue that onto the next ball with an angle to get on the final ball. Tough here. Slightly off straight, but he's okay. He can get on the final yellow. Interesting one there. He's worked really hard to go around the red. to arguably leave himself a tougher positional shot onto the 8-ball than if he'd just pulled it back and left it low of the red.
Needs a kind nudge, gets a kind nudge.
Yeah, really created an angle and manipulated the cue ball as well. That was an excellent positional shot, and what a visit to the table, really. Every single shot he played there had massive jeopardy and very little margin of error. And you consider the mistake he made in the opening frame of the night, opening frame of the match, that was fabulous.
Yeah, that was clutch, wasn't it, from Chris Day? And again, just goes back to what he himself was talking at the start of the night. Belief.
Yeah, that's it. You make a mistake like he did. You know, he knows it was a bad error not getting out in the opening frame. And it's writing that off and believing that you'll take the next opportunity no matter how difficult. And he's done just that.
Frame 3. Jimmy Croxton. Break. Off frame 1.
Jimmy's breaks really held up well tonight.
Extension called.
Can go wandering at times. He can misstrike that front ball a fair bit, but he got it pretty solid all night long.
I think that's what happens when you're in stroke almost. He's been playing so much this year, certainly more than he sort of ever played coming into an ultimate pool event, sort of consistently. And you know, when you've got that consistency in your practice and all the rest of it, your break is naturally that little bit more consistent.
He's also missed a few more balls than I was expecting. He doesn't miss many pots, as Jimmy. And that was obviously a difficult shot he was playing. Overcuts it, and what an opportunity now for Chris Day. Open table, of course, but he'll take the yellows. Slightly awkward from the main angle, but from this overhead it looks like the middle of the 3. So if he was to stop the cue ball where the yellow is on the left hand side, the middle of the 3 would be comfortable and there's more room there to play the plant. And once that's done, everything's in the open. So this looks like it's just a stop shot. This is perfect, really. Oh, that's a mistake. That is a mistake. Did not want to make both. Could have played it slightly differently to almost make sure. Could have played it a little bit slower. Has he got enough angle to get onto the final? Oh, he can just get to the bottom of the cue ball here. Might get away with that previous shot. He will. Yeah, from where he was, I mean, he played it as a punch stop shot to kill the cue ball, but he could have played it more pocket weight and killed the cue ball in the same way. Left the shot he just left whilst having one over the top right hand corner pocket, which is why I'm saying he could have played it another way and why it was a slightly loose shot, but he's dealt with it. Well, another slightly loose shot to make this a trickier 8-ball than it had to be, but this 8-ball for the frame. Half an eye on the cue ball here. It's tracking the red, therefore he's having to jack up so he doesn't feather off the red and go in at the same time, bottom right corner.
Oh, bulletproof from CD. 6 minutes to go, and he's in the box seat for qualification in the Champions League.
I think he's discussing the merits of both balls going in and the positional shots thereafter as well. Jimmy's got himself into the position where he's kind of hoping for a chance here. If he was to fall 3-1 behind with, say, 3 minutes to play, he'd be in a world of trouble. Dry break here from Chris, and he actually has it in his own hands. Reverse clearance, break clearance kind of territory. Oh, that's all that power driven straight through the pack. You can feel it. Not the greatest of results, in all honesty, but there actually is an out on here. Yellows will clear. Yellow nearest the cue ball now is the awkward one. All the others have pretty clean pockets. I wonder, does that yellow actually go bottom right? So if he was just to drop this in, I think it might. In which case it actually all could be very clean here. If he could leave himself almost plumb straight bottom right. No, he's digging, so it probably doesn't. Might go top right. Definitely goes top left, but it's just hard to get good on it top left and get good off it top left, which is why I was kind of looking for an alternative. I still think that remains the problem ball.
Yeah. It's another one of those finishes similar to the last where it just needs to almost, there's just no margin for error all the way through. You just got to be pretty perfect. Every shot key.
It's still awkward, that yellow. It's been awkward all the way through this visit, and it's still there and still awkward. You can pull back and get on it, but it's just a little fiddly. Oh, definitely fiddly now. I think you have to just pull that back. I don't like going into the red there. Pull it back, leave the thing clip. I know that the risk is you flick the red, going off, and you don't get on the 8 ball, but left the hardest ball till last. How often do we talk about that?
Well. And I tell you what, Liam White and his supporters may well just be interested.
Yep.
There's 2.5 minutes left. Jimmy Croxton is odds on to make this 2-2. And will probably have less than 90 seconds remaining when he does that.
That looked a loose shot though. Needed to be on the left hand one of those two reds together, and he's not. Unless he lands on that one, he's got a slight issue.
May yet have more drama.
This time he's made sure of it, but he's gone a little bit higher than he wanted to.
Is it his turn to try and hold on the red? It is. Needs a bit of luck.
That's fine. That's fine. He's controlled that really well. Natural to come across the table. Just watch the in off the centre. Watch the in off.
Well.
Yeah.
He's played that so well. Very good.
Just quit on that last one a fraction. No problems here though.
Rolls in the 8 ball. Well, it was 1 second down. 89 seconds to play. 2-2.
How long did he have in his opening match against Liam when he got the chance off Liam's break?
Oh, much less.
Was it under a minute?
It was under 30 seconds.
No, I think he had more time than he thought. He rushed it.
He was almost breaking Liam's record. It was that much. I think Liam broke off with about 38 seconds.
Oh, 39 seconds, you're right. 39 seconds on the clock. I remember saying it. Yeah, 39, so dry break. Jimmy came to the table with what? 34, 35 seconds on the clock. This time he's got 89. Loads of time.
But
2 frames on.
a tricky split here, and the 3-way 6-red shootout is definitely in play. Eight ball. It's going to stay up.
Oh, and it's messy.
So is everything else. And goodness me, there's some clusters. You've got 80 seconds, CD.
Liam White will be a happy man right now.
Oh, I wouldn't know about happy. I think definitely still stressed, but he's hopeful. Chris Day could still play heartbreaker.
Okay. He's got to make sure that he can't be countered, so don't open up this right centre pocket and then miss with 30 seconds to go.
He's already had one near miss on a buzzer beater. Oh, he's still in play.
If this goes to the corner, it's brilliant. If it goes to the corner, it's so easy. Oh, this has been amazing to get to this position with 35 seconds left.
This is seriously impressive. What a finish to pull out at this time in the match, at this time in the night.
It's not
And
a great angle.
Now he can clock waste if he wants. Oh, is he on the 8 ball? It's a tester. 6 seconds. This to win it. In it falls. Chris Day on the buzzer is through to the last 16 of the Champions League. It's heartbreak for Jimmy Croxton and Liam White. And the second time of asking tonight, CD pulls out the buzzer beater. Wow, what a finish. Welcome back, everybody. Chris Day is through in the Ultimate Pool Champions League by the finest of margins. There was a second to go, all on that final ball, on that final clearance. It was dramatic, but how good does it feel?
Feels really good, yeah. Obviously, every single aspect of that clearance was planned, pinpoint, down to the fact that I could leave the white still moving when there was a couple of seconds left and he didn't get a go at a break. So, yeah, ideal, really.
I'm still expecting to have a 6-red shootout. I didn't think that clearance was ever on. It was an absolutely ridiculous finish.
It was, yeah, but it's one of those, isn't it? When I got to the table, I thought to myself, there's got to be something here. But at the same time, I didn't want to try and pot the first ball. And miss it and leave a chance for Jimmy, because he's a great shot maker, isn't he? So
well, we're going to watch it back in its entirety. It won't take as long because it was only, as you can see from the clock there, 70 seconds from when you arrived at the table.
Yeah.
Not a lot of time at all. There's barely a finish on here. Problems all over the table wherever you look.
Yeah, and I found this ball. I thought, right, I'm bridging over, have a go. If it goes in and you cue it nicely, you're going to have the plant in the middle. Get the white down to the side of the table over here. You'll be on the ball in the far corner, and if you leave yourself an angle to go into the balls and make something happen, great. And if something happens, good. And if something doesn't happen, probably Jimmy hasn't got enough time.
Can you believe
Great positional shot that though.
No, when it went in the top corner, obviously it was ideal. If it was just the middle pocket, then I wouldn't have had enough time, I don't think. But once I got the white out to here, I managed to have a look at the clock and realise I had enough time to actually compose myself and pot the last couple of balls. But
yeah, because obviously your mind is completely racing at this stage, and it must be tough, when I ask you the question, what were you thinking at this moment? But was there a seed in the back of your mind that you'd had an attempt at a buzzer beater to win the match earlier in the night and not quite made it when you were looking at the clock?
Not really, no. The only thing I was thinking of was please manage to get this clearance so you get on the black nice. Because it's one of those ones, it's slid in there basically. I've been helped out a little bit by the table, in all fairness, but it's one I wanted to get on the black nice, and that's why I've risked the last yellow as I did, and sort of gone into the reds, and it looks a bit untidy. But I'm just trying to find the gap between the two reds and get the white across to make it as easy as possible, really.
Talking about like fine lines there. I know it's only a split second, but when you came to the table, you said you found a ball at the top of the table to go for. Was there some thoughts of just going, well, I'm going to make a mess of this and we're just going to do it in a 6-red? Or you always, because
No.
it was real messy, wasn't it?
It was, but I'd already made the decision in the chair, to be honest. I
Half a chance.
Yeah, I said if I've got a chance,
Yeah.
be sensible about it. Don't
Yeah.
give the match away by going for it. But if there is a chance, I'm taking it. I'm not just going to tippy-tappy my way to a
For those
6-red.
people that have not been in that situation, it's the first half of that visit is making sure that you can't be counted.
Correct.
And then you can throw caution to the wind, although it came out like a dream landing on that one in the top corner.
Definitely. But the good thing as well for me was, I had a shot on the yellow first poke.
Yeah.
And the reds were horrendous, weren't they?
Yeah.
So once I potted the yellow, I knew basically I pretty much had a free go at it.
But yellows were horrendous too. There was three yellows that didn't really go anywhere, but you still managed to deal with those.
Yeah, but you know what I mean. It's a free go,
Yeah,
isn't
yeah,
it?
of
I've got a
course.
6 red in the bank after I put the first yellow, I think.
Yeah.
It was a hell of a finish, but let's rewind all the way back to the start of the night where you get a 4-0 win in the bank pretty early.
Yeah.
It was just such a solid performance. We talked all night long, pretty much, whenever we'd had Shaun at the table, about his bad luck tonight. He was the one who sort of bore the brunt of the misfortune in the group, as someone sort of has to. But for yourself, it was so clean and clinical. You had 2 counters off his chances, 2 break and runs, and it just seemed to set you up for the night, really.
Yeah, I mean, as far as Shaun goes, I think after his first break, he had one of those chances where he had either colour set and there was work to do. And the first frame of the night, you don't want that.
No,
Yeah.
tough chance.
And he
wasn't it?
ended up
Yeah.
having to chase it a little bit, and he got caught out by the table on, I think, his second to last shot. And for me, ideal, because I've got ball in hand with ploppings, haven't I? So
Yeah.
yeah.
No, it eases you into the night, doesn't it? Because
Correct.
you kind of got a bit of room to play with. You can just free up a little bit.
Yeah.
But then what was interesting for me is that you didn't seem to play as well in your second match. There was a couple of errors in there. One of them, if you watch it back, I apologise, but I said it will be the worst shot you play all season long.
You lost a turn shot.
Yeah, the lost turn shot.
You knew exactly what he meant.
Yeah, I did. Yeah, because all I'm thinking about here is I can't not get the ball over the pocket because it's over the pocket. So I'm thinking, can I nip the white ball and really nip it so I'm leaving the white on the bottom cushion?
Yeah.
Because I knew I might leave him a double on his ball,
Yeah.
but he had to play the double and get another ball out, which is very
Yeah,
odds against. So I thought, if I get the white where I want it, I'm ideal.
Yeah.
And I ended up getting neither. So
So a bit of run you had, mind.
You drew it up
So,
perfectly.
yeah,
Got the-
yeah, they're great.
It was a really sort of, that match was ultimately, obviously the last match is always going to be decisive, but in the context of the night, all 3 now sort of in the rear view, that second match against Liam felt really pivotal.
Yeah.
And obviously you didn't lose it, that was important. It was maybe there to be won, but
Yeah.
you kept your head, and I came back to it multiple times through the night, that when you spoke to us before, you talked a little bit about belief and how you felt that was sort of there for you this season, and maybe last season was that a night that maybe gets away from you.
Maybe it's dependent on your outlook, isn't it? Because I've come into tonight feeling good, and the first match has gone my way. No matter how you look at it, really. The second match, as you said, there's a couple of mistakes here and there, but I'm not sitting there after it thinking, I got this wrong and I got that wrong. I'm just thinking, right, if I win my last match, I'm through, and I just snap people's hand off at the start of the night for that.
Is it a case of, we're obviously a lot talking about this, the start of the season, and what, can you build on what you did last year? Is it a case of now trying to look at those sort of the small margins? How do I become a tournament winner? How do I get deeper? How do I start, getting myself in the mix? Is that what you're kind of looking at the moment?
It is, but I'm also trying to disconnect from it slightly, because I spent last year doing a lot of work on the practice table and on the mental side as well. And it's okay me going into tournaments thinking that I can win. I think obviously you should believe that you can win a tournament, but it's completely unrealistic for me to think I can win all the tournaments in the year. So you've got to have that balance, really. So at the moment, my aim is just to be as prepared as I can, and make sure that I'm as competitive as I can be, and I fight basically for every frame.
It's almost that, because it is such a volatile spot. I mean, not more so than Monday nights, but even our series events, even the tournaments where it's races to 10, it is ultimately such a volatile sport.
Yeah.
Have you almost stripped it back in your head to be like, well, control the controllables. I can only control what I do on the table.
Oh, yeah.
What will be, will be.
Definitely, because when you've played pool for long enough, as you'll probably know, you have matches.
I played it for long enough, for sure. Yeah.
You have matches where they've got away from you and you've missed chances.
Yeah.
Do you know? And you come out afterwards and you think, actually, I had a really good opportunity to go deep there, but you might have lost in the last 32 or the last 16. And then there's other times where you're, as prepared as you could possibly be. You make 0 mistakes through the course of the day and you get beat. and it's just the way Paul
I
goes.
want to get your take, because we're talking about it in those sort of terms, on Cole winning at the British Open a couple of weeks ago. For somebody else like you know, in your position, you're obviously got yourself into the top 16. You're kind of close to making that breakthrough. Do you look at something, you know, Cole Bedford winning and think, if he can go and do that, you know, I've been putting the work in. I'm making yourself ready. Do you take confidence from what he's just done?
Sort of, and yeah, I do from others winning down, you know, over the last couple of years as well.
Yeah.
But in the grand scheme of things, I think people like Cole, he's a different player to me.
Yes, he's a different player to everyone.
Yeah, well, that is true.
Yeah.
But Cole's the sort of player for me. He will probably win a tournament each year or every couple of years, because when things go right for him and when he plays the way he does, he's almost unstoppable, because it doesn't really matter where the balls are. They'll come out nice and he'll clear. Whereas I'm not necessarily going to go for those clearances to start with. So it's like you make your own luck, isn't it?
Yeah, absolutely.
Which
and
he deserves.
Absolutely. I completely agree. Really interesting to get your thoughts as always, Chris, but I think the most important thing to say is congratulations. You've made it to the last 16 of the Champions League.
Thank you.
And we will see you in a few weeks at the old series for your first tilt at a Pro Series title this season. Best of luck for that.
Thanks, guys.
And we will see you, of course, next week, folks. We've got so much to come still on the Ultimate Pool Champions League. Next week's group is pretty tasty. We'll see David McQuillan make his Monday night debut all the way from Ireland. We'll see Vivek Mack back in the house. He's had plenty of success on Monday nights before. We've also got Josh Kane and Neil Raybone for company too. Another fantastic group in the Ultimate Pool Champions League, and the winner of that will join this fella in the last 16. From now, though, it's good night.
Oh my word. Oh my God.
Your Champions League winner is Declan Brennan.
Monday Night Pool brought to you by ultimateleloans.co.uk.